Right, this is a Gaz66. What I'm going to do is change the tyre. The wheels are split rims. So you've got a very short rim here, thin rim this side, with a much deeper one the other side. These are designed so you can do it in the field. So if you have a problem with the tyre, you just split the rim, take the tyre off, put the tyre back on, put this half of the rim on, and tighten the nuts. It's that simple. Not, but it can be good fun. It just depends on luck and how long the tire's been on the actual rim. Some of them you can just undo it, everything just pops off. Other ones you can fight it and end up having to get off. I've done one where I've had to cut the tire all the way round to cut the tire off, and then with the actual metal bead inside the tire, cut it with an angle grinder to release the pressure, because the tire had effectively rusted itself onto the rim. So yeah, good fun. So first thing I'm going to do is I've loosened the nut off there. I'm going to take one bolt out, one nut off. Take one nut off, which takes the valve off for the central tyre inflation system, and that'll let the air pressure out of the inner tube. That's safely in a little box. Yeah, sometimes they come off a little bit easier, but I must have put a new rubber on that one because it's such tighter. Right, what I'm going to do is just undo every other one whilst I'm waiting for the pressure to come out. Yeah, that easy. Come on. You can't take all the bolts off when the pressure's in, otherwise the rim could fly off and cause damage. Yeah, the tyres are on this are made by Nortec, and they're a Russian tyre. They've been on for 4 years, but they are pretty bald. I mean, when I say bald, that's just basically nothing left. They've done approximately 15,000 kilometres, but that's 15,000 of a mix, probably 60–70% road use, and then 30% either off-road or in the sand, because we ended up in the Sahara Desert with this one. But tyres have been very good. We had one that went out of shape, and just getting a little lump as you're driving it, da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. Had a look at it, and it was one of the it just developed an egg in the tyre. So I put the spare on, which was the same make, so that was okay. But this time I haven't been able to buy the same tyres. Not that I would have anyway, because I didn't think they lasted very well for the money. But I bought some Chinese ones now because they were the only ones available, and they're called New Master. Same size, but a lot cheaper and available. Because the Russian stuff now, it's difficult to get hold of. In a box, put them out the way. No matter where you put yours, kick them over. Right, this is, I don't know the proper way of doing it, or the approved way of doing it, but it seems to work for me. first. This is what can happen, you never know whether it's going to be a loose rim or a tight rim. It's just a case of going round and round in circles. I think it's starting to move now. There we go. Just a bit of patience, I suppose. Set the top rim off. As you can see, just rusts onto the rim a little bit, but I suppose it depends on whether it's been wet, how long it's been on there. Right, then it's the other side. Just going to wheel over. Yeah, this one's been in the mud. Right, and then the same again, just to break the bead. You just get a feel for this. You tap it down, and then a bit of an angle. The rims quick wire brush just to get off any loose rubbish in case there is some cobwebs. That's alright, that is. Right, and goes the rim. We found a hole there to go with the valve, which is here. Oh, the rim tape. It's got, look closely, there's a ridge there, which is the halfway point. So that's got to be basically between the two beads here. It's got to be in the middle. So I was putting the tape in the correct place. Making sure that I've got the valve in the correct place, which it's moved a little bit within the rim tape. It's correct now. So good. Right, still making sure that the valve is correct. Turn this over. The valve's in the right place. Rubber flaps in the right place as well there. And I've got to look for, on here there's one hole for the valve, which goes there. A little bit of persuasion into the right place. Let's put the nuts on. Warming up a little bit today. It was 2 degrees this morning, and yeah, I don't know what it is now, but it's absolutely beautiful. I picked the wrong spot because I was in the shade this morning, and then the sun's come around now. It starts warming up lovely. Now I've got one of these nuts missing because where the valve for the central tyre inflation system goes, I'm not going to put that on until it's actually on, bolted to the truck. So I'm going to leave one nut off. So that's on there. Always start them by hand. It's just a habit. Because some people with windy guns, where they've put the nut on, it's slightly cross-threaded, and as they've rattled it up, it's just damaged all the threads on the way up. What I'm going to do now is just to blow any dust away, because obviously it's been upside down. What I can do now is just set this on a low setting, and then tighten up every other one. So this is the tyre inflation valve, which I took off earlier. Just going to put it in place and just put the nut on loose. Right, there we go. So the next thing is just to inflate it. I'm going to use a normal pressure tyre gauge inflator. I did put it handy and then forgot where I put it. For the moment there's a Schrader valve in there which has to come out when the valve goes on. And then I can change the tyre pressures from inside the truck while it's driving. You can inflate or deflate. You have to get out first and turn all the valves here, open them to allow the movement of the air. So if you know you're going to be changing over the day, leave them undone. What I tend to do is, because it's generally just left at a high pressure, you know, for sort of tarmac use, then get the pressure I want and then lock them off. Every now and again undo them and just check the pressures. You can do it individually or one at a time. Sorry, individually or all together, depending on what you want to do. I tend to run them at about 40 psi when I'm on tarmac, and then on the loose down to I suppose 20 psi. You can go very low, but I'm limited now because of only having the rubber flaps on the beads as opposed to having the proper bead locks. Never caused me a problem because I don't go that severe. There is a theory with a motorhome. You can drive out somewhere, but you've got to get back, and the last thing you want to do is be stuck in the middle of nowhere, just bogged down. Always err on the side of caution a little bit. I'm just going to put 2.5 bar in at the moment. It's about 37 psi-ish. Like that. So for the time being, let's put the rubber cap back on. I say rubber because it's actually rubber. I've never seen any like this before. Right, so there we go. How to change the rim, or how to change the tyre on a Gaz66. The manual, difficult way.